Good evening, and welcome to our Alumni Spotlight, the first of its kind with the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts Foundation and the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts Alumni Association. My name is Ryan Smetzer, and I am so excited to be jumping on and having our first Alumni Spotlight with a very special alumni who is actually on his journey on American Idol right now. It's going to be a special evening. If you guys have any questions for our special guest, which we'll announce here in just a little bit, let us know right there down in the comments. Again, our special guest is Pajama Josh, also known as Josh Hollin from the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. It's awesome and so cool to just have a graduate of the school moving on throughout the journey on American Idol. And I couldn't do this without bringing on my partner in crime with the Alumni Association, Mary Teal Medina. Hello, good evening. How are you this evening?
What's up, Brian? I am so excited to be interviewing one of our most just incredibly accomplished alumni. I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an awesome evening of just, being able to hear the great story of Josh and how he's been doing the last couple of years. And then especially, obviously, in most recent time, the last couple of months with the journey on American Idol. But tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing over the course of the next several months with our Alumni Spotlight series.
Yeah, so basically, Ryan and I are co-chairs of the Alumni Association, which is a part of the larger group that is the Barbara Ingram Foundation. And so we all kind of have this special connection because we're all Barbara Ingram alumni. And for those of you that don't know, Barbara Ingram School for the Arts is a public high school, a public arts high school in Washington County, Maryland. And really the main role of the foundation for the school is to really advance exceptional arts education and also raise funds that are going to support the longevity of the school. And also provide grant opportunities for current students because, there are expenses that come along with being an artist, whether it's purchasing brand new dance shoes or, maybe it's going off to a special musical theater camp for the summer. So we raise funds that go towards grant opportunities for current students. And it's really awesome that it's a public high school. So it's accessible for all students in Washington County. And actually, you can even attend Barbara Ingram School for the Arts if you are out of county or even out of state. So I cannot wait to talk with Josh. But just a little shameless plug real quick. If you are a Barbara Ingram School for the Arts alumni and you'd like to join the Alumni Association, Ryan and I would love to have you. You can do that by going to the foundation's website. It's just barbaraingramfoundation.org. There's an alumni tab. It'll give you all the details there. But really the idea behind the Alumni Association was just for us to be able to connect beyond graduation. I think there are so many, high schools that maybe don't even have reunions anymore, but they also don't have networking opportunities for graduates. So tonight we are kicking off something that we will be doing monthly for all of you that are watching to just highlight Barbara Ingram alumni. Where are they now? Are they using their art through their careers, or maybe they've gone on to be a public school teacher or a doctor, or just so many different things. And I'm really, really excited to talk to Josh.
Yes, I mean, it's honestly the perfect way to kick off a series like this. You kind of used the question there of the "where are they now" concept, and that's something that we've always wanted to really have the opportunity to celebrate. And like you said, it goes beyond just their their arts background, but also just being able to see how the individuals who have graduated from the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts have been using their art. And this is one incredibly special story of just that. Somebody who graduated, went on to record music and produce music down in the South, and then, of course, went on to work with an incredible foundation with Lady Gaga, and is now on the stage of American Idol. I'm so pumped up and excited to bring on to our live stream this evening, Mr. Josh Hollin, a.k.a. Pajama Josh. Good to have you here.
Yes.
Everybody. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Mary. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, it is an honor to have you on. Congratulations on all of your success and, of course, of this recent success of being on American Idol. How has it felt so far?
Oh, my God, Ryan. It has been the biggest whirlwind of an experience. I can't even begin to tell you how incredible it's been. I've had the thrill of my life.
I can only imagine. So, I mean, obviously where we're at right now at this point in the show, you've got the golden ticket from Katy Perry, Luke Bryan, and Lionel Richie. Tell us the story of that process, because, I mean, it's one of the most unique roller coaster ride stories of American Idol history. So tell us a little bit about that.
Ryan, Mary, you could not have scripted what happened that day. It was like an out-of-body experience. But I guess I'll just dive in and give you a synopsis, because the full story is going to we'll be here all night. So can you still see me and hear me? I just want to make sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the journey really started for me back in July. I had just left living in New York City for many months. I was working a really great job with a #1 beauty brand. I was working in marketing, and it was a great job, but the pandemic happened, and I ended up moving back to Florida. And so, to support myself, I was, taking on all these jobs. I worked at Starbucks for a little bit, and I was just really hustling to make something of myself. And I had auditioned for all the singing competition shows when I was much younger, America's Got Talent, The Voice, and I never really got anywhere. I would make it through like a couple rounds with producers, but I would never actually, make it to the judges, which, is a process in and of itself. So this time, a casting producer actually found my Instagram and invited me to audition for the show's producers. And I ended up getting flown out to audition in front of Katie, Luke, and Lionel in Los Angeles, which was an unbelievable experience. So pretty much I showed up to the hotel, platinum white hair, gold eye pieces, like eye stickers on my face, very, Prince, very David Bowie, very Gaga. I'm a showman. Like I really got my chops, performing in New York. I mean, you both went to school with me, though I always kind of had my own way of kind of like dressing and stuff. So to make a long story short, I got interviewed by Ryan Seacrest. It was great. And the next day was the audition. So I'm getting ready to walk in. One of the producers, Patrick, who's been on the show since like the beginning, I hear him on the walkie-talkie. He's like, "All right, we got a guy dressed like Karl Lagerfeld, like getting ready to go." So I through the audition room, and my heart was like pounding out of my chest. I was really nervous, but I was like, okay, like let's do this. So I go in, I introduce myself as Pajama Josh, and a lot of people are probably wondering, why do you call yourself Pajama Josh? You're not wearing pajamas. So I told the judges the story of, how I got the name Pajama Josh. And pretty much I chose the name when I was 19. The story behind it was I was working, on top of being a full-time college student, I was working every 9-to-5 job you can think of. I was a barista, a bookseller, a marketing associate, an intern. Truly, like I did it all. And I would put on my work uniform and I just felt really sad, and like I felt like another number in the system. Like I would put on my name tag and I didn't feel like me. And so I would get back to my dorm room at the end of like a long day of classes, and I would put on my pajamas, and like I felt like myself again. And all of a sudden I would make music, and it was like I got back like this sense of freedom in my life. And so that sense of freedom is how I want people to feel when they hear my music. So I told the judges the story. I think Lionel like was kind of amused by it, but like Katie and Luke, like I don't think they really like were feeling me, if you know what I mean. So they're like, all right, so like, what are you gonna sing? So I had prepared to do an original called Rain Dance. It's like a very pop, hip hop inspired, very like, you would hear it on the radio, like kind of song. So I go over to the piano. I do it. It went well. It had a rap at the end, and I finished the rap. And I look up from the piano, and Katie looks at me, and she goes, "Am I being punked?" I truly did not know how to take that. I didn't know if it was really good and she wasn't expecting it, or if it was really bad. Like I didn't know. So we just kind of like stared at each other for like a good, like I'd say like a solid 5 seconds. It was like just a really awkward, like that really awkward silence. It's just like, I'm really hoping like one of us says something. So finally,
you got a staring contest with Katy Perry. That's a major accomplishment.
It was really intense. And so I was like, finally, yes and no. Like I didn't know what the answer was. So she goes, "All right, Josh, stand on the blue circle and give us something a cappella." So at this point, my heart was pounding out, like harder than I would have ever imagined. Because my second song was actually Stand By Me by Ben E. King. But I prepared this entire like piano arrangement with it, like completely different from the original. So when they asked me to sing it a cappella, it really threw me off my game because I, had prepared it one way. I had a feeling that, okay, there might be a chance they ask you to do it a cappella. And of course, like I practiced a couple times like a cappella, but you never really like expect the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And so I do Stand By Me. And out of all the times I had sung that song, by far one of the worst times I'd ever sung it. It was, my voice slightly cracked. It wasn't that it was pitchy, but it just, you could tell like it was my nerves. Like it just wasn't a good performance. And I knew it right away. And so Katie lets out a sigh and she goes, when you see someone who has a little sparkle of something, she was like, do you really like put them through this? And then Luke Bryan like started to vote and I could tell like it wasn't looking good. So I was like, you gotta come up with something really fast. So I was like, Luke, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I was like, I play the upright bass. I have a classical music background. I sing, I rap, I produce. I think I can bring something really different to the show.
Yeah.
I never thought I would ever speak up like that. Like I'm the kind of person like just go with the flow. Like if things aren't going well, just like. But I was like, look, you made it to this point. Like you gotta fight for it.
Yeah.
So Katie goes like, all right, well, we're hungry. She was like, we're gonna go on our lunch break. She was like, can you come back like without all of this, meaning like my outfit and like the whole thing. So at this point, do you guys know like when you like lock your car keys like in the car and like alarms are going off and it's like you don't know like it was very much like that was how I was feeling.
Yeah.
It was total panic because it was like this doesn't happen like on show. Like if they don't like you or if they don't see something in you, it's 3 no's, come back next season and try again.
Right.
But Katie, they really saw something in me. And so I collected myself. I left the room. They asked me, they're like, with the camera, like, what's going on? And like, I'm like, well, they asked me to change my clothes. So I'll be back. I went back to my hotel room, couldn't find my room key. It was total chaos. Cause at this point I didn't know, how long I had, before I had to go back in the room. They found this whole thing of like me changing out of my clothes and this whole bit. So I went to the front desk. I was like, I need someone to open my door right away because I had to get back to my keyboard to figure out an arrangement and like what was going to be like this fight song that I was going to come back with.
Yeah.
So I'm going through all these options. I get a Zoom call from the American Idol vocal coach. Her name is Nancy. She's unbelievable. And she was like, all right. She was like, show me like what you would do if you went back in the room. So I was going to do a song about my mental health. It's a song I wrote called Too Many Tabs. And it was good, but just vocally at that point, I was so shaken. I was like, okay, you just got to like stay in your pocket and not take any risks here and just like nail it.
Sell it. Yeah.
We're going through options. There was a Bruno Mars song. And it didn't feel like me. So finally, I was all alone in my hotel room with Nancy on FaceTime because of COVID. And I pull out a pin with a note that was given to me as a gift by Lady Gaga's mother, Cynthia Germanotta. We had a team call.
Wow.
She had us all go around on the team and talk about, like what did you want to be when you grew up? I said I wanted to be a singer, and she sent me this pin that said, Josh, never give up on your dreams.
Wow.
Wow.
I took out that note and that pin, and in that moment, I figured out what song I was going to come back with. So I left the room. They filmed this crazy transformation scene of me, changing. They didn't air it, but anyway, me out of my clothes, and so I took off my black suit, my gold necklace, my eye makeup, everything, and I put on a pink Adidas sweatshirt and some drugstore leggings and some beat up red sneakers, and I went back in that room, and I introduced myself. I was like, hello, my name is Josh Hollin. Thanks so much for giving me another shot. And so Katie looks at me and she's like, all right, Josh, you have 60 seconds to impress us.
Oh my gosh.
At this point, I'm like, okay. I was like, I didn't want to tell them what song I was going to do because I had a feeling that if I told them the name of the song, they were like, okay, he didn't listen to anything we just said. Mm-hmm. So I go over to the piano. And I'm like, as I'm walking over, I'm like, this is a song that Still feels like me, but it's a song I want to dedicate to my friends, and after this whole pandemic is over, I hope we can all just dance again. So I get behind and I deliver a power ballad version of Lady Gaga's Just Dance.
Yes.
It was really solid. I finished the song and Katie goes, "There it is, Josh." And
there we go.
She goes, "Stand on the blue circle." And she's like, "I think you look cool." She goes, I don't think you know this. And I don't know if it's for American Idol. And so at that point when she said that, I was like, okay, great. I just did all of this and I'm not going through. And then Luke started to vote. And he goes, "I got to be honest with you. When you walked in looking like David Bowie, I was a no. Like he said it probably 7 times. Like he said no 7 times. After seeing and hearing what you just did, he was like, I'm a yes. So at this point, it's all coming down to Lionel Richie's vote. And mind you, this entire time, he hasn't said much. So I don't know what's going through his head. I don't know what he's thinking. He goes, "Let me ask you a question." He goes, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Are you a serious artist?" And I answer him, I'm like, "Yes." And so he goes, "All right, Josh, well, you better bring your pajamas with you to Hollywood because you're going through."
Oh, that's so cool.
So that was the story of my crazy audition.
I just have to say, like, when I think of your story, when you were describing earlier, I just couldn't help but think of the word tenacious. Like, you have tenacity, Josh. I mean, I think about with this pandemic, I mean, you were living in New York City. So many artists were struggling and still are. And it probably hurt a little bit for you to maybe move back to Florida, but you're so tenacious. I mean, you picked yourself up and you said, you know what, this is my dream. I know this is my purpose and I'm going to go for it. And I want you to, or I guess my question is, what would you say to maybe like some Barbara Ingram students that could be watching, or just artists in general who have been discouraged through COVID because so many things have gotten canceled? What would you say to them?
That's a really good point, Mary, and thank you so much for asking that. I would just want to tell anybody going to Barbara Ingram that you have to really believe in yourself and your talent, and you have to be so sure of yourself and so consistent in your heart with your passion, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's theater, whether it's creative writing, whether it's art. You have to really love what you do, and you have to look right in the crevice of your eye in that mirror and ask yourself, am I meant to do this? And if that answer is yes, you're going to find your why and you're going to figure out how you're going to make it. And that's what I would tell anybody who has a dream. Just really believe in yourself and never take no for an answer, ever.
Yeah. Yes.
One door closes, another one opens. So just don't be afraid to go for it.
Absolutely. And I mean, I can bounce off of what Mary said too. Tenacious. I think grit was what I saw too when I was reading that story a week ago. I was like, this is a true story. Like, this is the American Idol kind of story right there of, like, you know, jumping in there, learning the song real quick and, you know, changing the outfit, doing that whole thing. Like, it was just such an American Idol story when I was reading it. That's spectacular. Now, walk us through that next step then. You know, you're on the flight, you're headed to Hollywood, you're going through the Hollywood rounds. How are you feeling in that moment? Because right there, then you've got your situation where Bobby Bones is added into the mix. You've got your mentors. You've got all the different, you know, rounds now, the, you know, throwing in duets and all these different concepts. Walk us through that.
Hollywood Week was nuts. So there was a 2-month period in between. My audition was in October, Hollywood Week was in December. I had 2 months to figure out, how am I going to convince the judges that I'm a serious artist and that I should be taken seriously?
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of soul searching, and I had to listen to a lot of advice, and really, I was like, okay, if I come back as Pajama Josh, which is who I am, you know, it's, the thing about Pajama Josh that I just want to clarify, it's a mask, and I'm aware that it's a mask, you know what I mean? But it's a mask that I created that came from a place of real insecurity and real pain. You know, when I was in middle school and high school, I was just Josh with brown hair and, you know, glasses and a big nose, and I liked to sing, and that was me. And I never really felt like a star. And it wasn't until I dyed my hair, you know, platinum white and started calling myself something ridiculous that all of a sudden, like people wanted to know who I was, and all of a sudden more, you know, followers and more people wanted to come, you know, to my show. And it was like everything started to change. And, but that persona, that person that I have become, it's what has given me the confidence and the wings to fly when I didn't feel like flying. So
yes.
I think that after hearing, you know, the rest of the story I'm about to tell you, I think that there are going to be some people who are going to read it and say, well, why couldn't you just be yourself from the beginning? But the truth is that I've always been myself. Pajama Josh, that is me. That is that kid who always likes to sing. I just look a little more cool, but
yeah,
it's armor. You know, some days I can sing without all of that stuff. Some days I need to put some of that stuff on. But for Hollywood Week, I knew that I had to strip it all away. So I went over to my local hair salon and I had Luis, my barber, cut out all my blonde hair. And, you know, I told him, you know, the story, and he was like, I don't think that having blonde hair and all this stuff makes you less of a serious artist. And, you know, whether or not I agreed with him or didn't, it didn't matter. I had a mission. The judges threw me this bone. They told me, when Lionel Richie tells you to be serious, you listen. So
yeah.
I was not, you know, going to risk this. So I cut out all my hair. 2 months, I was figuring out what songs I was going to do. And, you know, certain songs like didn't get cleared. So I had to figure out, you know, whatever. Anyway, I fly back to Los Angeles. Some more days of quarantining, COVID test. That I have to say, the entire Idol staff was so professional with how they handled the pandemic. It was amazing. They really took care of everybody. So I go to the hotel where, you know, quarantining and then, you know, filming and, you know, everything's happening. And so it's the day of the genre challenge. So they have us sitting in the Dolby Theater. I'm wearing a blue tie-dye, like just sweatshirt, same black leggings they had me change into, same red sneakers, and just a black leather jacket. And I was in the audience and I was listening. They have us listen to all the contestants, you know,
oh wow.
So I was, after the third singer, I was like, I can't do this. I was really in my head. I was like, I'm going to embarrass myself. Like I was really doubting myself. And I posted this on my Facebook. I sent a text message to my friend. I was like, I don't think I'm good enough to do this. I was like, it was honestly some of the best singers I had ever heard in my life. And I didn't know how I would match up. Somehow, as the day went on and, you know, you're listening to all these singers, like I really started to spiral. I was like, I was pacing, like people were asking, like, are you okay? And like the best, most supportive people there. I've made so many incredible friends throughout this journey. And so for some way, somehow, as the time got closer to me hitting the stage, I started to get it together. People were like, okay, you need to like do jumping jacks and like, you know, get the blood going, you know?
Yeah.
So it's time. I was line 8 that day. So it's time for, you know, our line to, you know, go backstage. Patrick, the same producer that I told you about earlier, he was calling out names, getting ready to go. And he goes, Pajama Josh, where is he? And I was right in front of him and he didn't recognize me.
That's awesome.
Wow.
He was like, oh my God. Like I kept asking, like, who's this kid in the glasses? And it was you. So at that point I was like, I don't think the judges were going to recognize me either. And I was like, that's going to be really awkward. So I go out on stage. And one of the things that they ask you to prepare to say when you get on stage is, why are you the next American Idol?
Right.
And, I really thought about this question and, you know, what I wanted to say to the judges and to the world. And the truth is that one thing I noticed that connected everybody there was social media. In some way, it's how we connect to each other. When it's like, it's no longer, you know, especially in COVID times, it's no longer a handshake and a hug. It's, what's your Instagram? What's your TikTok?
Yeah.
I follow you.
Yeah.
So I thought about that, and I thought about, okay, if I was growing up in this time, what would I want somebody to tell me who was on stage? So I go out on stage, everything's happening. People are like adjusting the height of the piano, the microphone, everything's happening at lightning speed. I go out on stage and I go, hello, my name is Josh. I didn't say Pajama Josh this time, I just said Josh. And I was like, I'm the next American Idol, because whether you have 2 followers or 2 million, that's not what makes you successful. What makes you successful is your perspective, what's in your heart, and how you treat people.
Oh, yeah.
That was my answer. And, you know, there were a lot of TikTokers in that audience, and I hope I didn't offend anyone. But it needed to be said. And so I said, this is The Edge of Glory. I did an acoustic version of The Edge of Glory by Lady Gaga. And it was really solid. There was one piano chord that wasn't quite right, but it was a solid performance. It was pretty good.
Awesome.
So I get up from the piano and I see Katy Perry. She's like clapping really hard and she's like, yes. Really good reaction. And so I went backstage and Patrick, like the producer, was like, that was awesome. And like everyone was telling me, like, you're going through. So like I start, you start believing it. And then, they put a camera on you. They're like, so, do you think you're going through? And at first I was like, oh, I don't know. And then they were like, can you give us like a yes or no? So I was like, yes, I think after that, I'll probably go through. I left backstage. I, ran to the bathroom. I started crying, not because of like scared of what was going to happen, but I was just I couldn't believe I just did that.
Yeah.
I just thought back to like every open mic, every bar that I performed at with like 5 people. And I was like, oh my God, like no matter what happens from this point forward, like I just played on like the biggest stage like ever. Like
That's amazing.
Like, like whether you win or lose, like you won, you know what I mean?
It's the Dolby Theater. I mean, that is massive. I mean, the Oscars are there every year, to put it into perspective.
Oscars, America's Got like everything. And so, okay, this is where things get really interesting. And you saw this on last night's episode if you watched. They line you up in lines, and they say this person step forward. So what was really interesting about my line, it was the line of all of the eccentric contestants, like anyone with a stage name, anyone with like colored hair, anyone who was like had their own kind of artist thing going on. Mm-hmm. Like there were no like country singers like in my line. Like it was just very like all like the let's just say like if this was high school, we all would have sat at the same lunch table kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So they call out our line, and Katie goes, "This is a line of characters, but you can't play everybody." And she goes, "I kid you not." And in this round, they really don't give like any sort of like constructive feedback. Like it's, you either get through or you don't.
Yeah.
Katie calls me out in front of the entire theater, and she goes, "Great job, Josh." She was like, "You really impressed me." Louis, Anthony, step forward. Back row, you're going home.
Ah!
And that was the end of my Idol journey last night on last night's episode.
But that was such like I mean, all in all, that moment of singing on the stage, and then that moment of Katy Perry calling you out in the middle of everybody and being like, "Hey, you impressed me." That alone is like that nudge of like, "Hey, it's not the end of the journey. It's just the end of this season of American Idol journey." And that's what's just like incredible. And also I can only imagine the adrenaline rush that you went through when they lined y'all up. She points you out and then scoots you back and sends you home. Like that's where it's like, wait, what?
It was crazy. It was insane. But listen, I've been listening to Katy Perry since I was 11 years old. Like the fact that she even like acknowledged, like said my name at all, like that was enough. Like I will like have that soundbite in my head like for the rest of my life. And it was the most incredible experience. I have no regrets. I would do it again. It was life-changing. It was a life-changing experience. I made friends for life there. I'm so excited to watch my friends kill it tonight with the duets. Everyone should tune in at 8:00. but yeah, it was unbelievable. And the main takeaway I really took away from this whole experience was that you can be your own superhero. You know, when things aren't looking good or things are crashing down, you can find that strength within you to persevere and to keep going. And you know, Barber Ingram is a really special place. I would not be who I am today without that school. The one thing I learned throughout, that I think everyone should have learned throughout this pandemic, right, is that we can't do this without the arts.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
arts are what keeps us going. You know, so I'm so honored to be speaking with you, Ryan, and thank you both for having me on to share my story. I'm so honored to have been here today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an honor to have you on as well. And, you know, this, again, is only a chapter on the journey of Josh Hollin and the journey of Pajama Josh. And, you know, obviously, a lot of your journey so far has involved that, you know, publishing your music online and, you know, and Spotify, Apple Music, all of the different platforms as Pajama Josh. So, you know, with this chapter now, you know, closed, you know, what is the next step now for Pajama Josh and this journey in this era as an artist?
Well, more music, much more music. I actually I wrote a song about this whole experience. It's called Concealer. And it'll be the lyrics go, maybe I'm a lot to take in, maybe I'm a bit too much, but if I showed you what was underneath it all, would it be enough? I'm bleeding out the outside for you. I guess that's just the price I pay of showing you what's under my concealer so the world can know my name. So I'm really excited to put that one out, and hopefully an album coming really soon, EPs, and just more music. I can't get enough of making it, so.
Yeah. We just want to say that we are super proud of you. I mean, we you know, we knew you were talented in high school, but to see your journey, to see you just reach this new level, I mean, we're just really, really proud of you. And you were mentioning, you know, you've been listening to Katy Perry for years, but you also had some pretty specific song choices with Lady Gaga for some of your audition pieces. So, you know, your journey has been featured on Channel Kindness, and which is the digital platform for Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation. So, like, tell us about your journey with the foundation, just briefly, and really how that inspired, and Lady Gaga inspired your music career.
Absolutely. Well, Lady Gaga is for sure one of my biggest inspirations, not just in music, but in life. I mean, her foundation is. I'm so grateful to work with them every day. So just to give you a little backstory about the foundation, Born This Way Foundation was started in 2012 by Lady Gaga and her mother, Cynthia Germanata, with the mission of creating a kinder and braver world. And the foundation has three lofty goals. It's 1, to make kindness cool, 2, to validate the emotions of young people, and 3, to eliminate the stigma surrounding mental health. So if anyone listening is struggling with their mental health, it's okay to not be okay. Check out bornthisway.foundation for mental health resources and self-care tips. We also recently launched our Please Stay pledge with partnership of Find Your Anchor. You can go to pleasestay.us, and there's a bunch of self-care tips, mental health resources, and you can take the hashtag Please Stay pledge, where there's a bunch of anchors that will keep you here. So for example, an anchor is anything that, you know, you love to do or something that centers you. So for me, my anchor is music. But working for the foundation has been just so incredible. And it's even trickled in, you know, to my music. So much about what we're about at the foundation is self-care. The song that I recently put out is called Airplane Mode. And it's a song.
It's so good.
Thank you. It's a song about, you know, putting your life on airplane mode and just not turning a blind eye to what's going on in the world, but giving yourself the permission to say, hey, I need to shut off my phone. I need to turn off my email. I need to take care of my mental health, and that it's okay to do that. So that's a little bit about the foundation. I was recently in their Channel Kindness book. You can go to smarturl.it/channelkindness or channelkindness.org/book to check out the Channel Kindness book. I was really grateful to be featured in it. You'll read a bunch of stories of resilience from a lot of my peers. So incredible book.
Amazing.
And I'm just so grateful to everybody there.
That's awesome. Yeah, we had a question from Melanie Higgins saying, what kind of encouragement would you give someone who questions their own talent in the company of other great talented people? How do you stay out of the, quote, comparison trap?
Good question.
That's a heavy one.
It's a really interesting question considering what I went through.
Yeah.
I would say what I learned from that experience, because it correlates exactly with this question. You had to really remind yourself that I was at American Idol for a reason. The judges saw something in me for a reason, and that you're at that school for a reason. The same.
Yeah.
You had to audition to get in, and somebody or multiple people believed in you enough to give you your shot. So what one person does, they can't do what you do. You know, everybody has their own lane, and no two people are alike. So I think just grounding yourself in that and internalizing it and really believing in yourself and your talents, you got to just block out the noise. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. But it's so important that you just really center yourself and remind yourself that.
Oh, Ryan, I think you're on mute. There you go.
The joys of the virtual concept is forgetting to unmute yourself. What is, I guess, the next chapter for you, just in general? And I guess the big question too is, are you going to be returning to the Idol stage in the next season? Oh,
that's a really good question. I've thought about it a lot. I guess we're just gonna have to stay tuned. You know, I'm certainly not a quitter. I think that I proved that a lot in my audition. So I would love to have the chance to come back and show them how much I've grown. But I guess time will have to tell on that one.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Josh, hey, thank you so much again for joining us and telling your story, first and foremost, because not only is it an epic story, and I'll be honest, like I got some of the warm and fuzzies just reading the stories the last couple of weeks, because vividly I remember so much of, I think it was like the county talent show years and years ago.
Yes.
Performing on stage, and it was like 2008 or 2009 around that time, and just like that experience of just being like, holy cow, like he is gonna be huge someday.
I didn't even make it in the top 5 on Teen Idol. So I just want everybody watching this to know, you can't let anything stop you.
Yes.
You can't let it stop
true.
You.
Exactly. He went from the competition hosted by myself and I think Peter Bigford to Ryan Seacrest. So big upgrade right there, man.
Ryan, you are up there with Seacrest. I look up to you and Mary both so much. I'm so inspired by you both. And I'm just so proud of you both. You both are doing amazing things in your careers, and I'm just really proud of you both. So I just want to say that.
Thanks. We are proud of you, and we just want to say thank you so much for carving out some time to share your story and to inspire others. And just maybe Ryan put up like some of Josh's handles. People can follow him on Instagram, Facebook, listen to his music. It's incredible. So talented.
Thank you so much. Yeah, all my platforms are at Pajama Josh. Super easy. And I follow back. So please give me a follow.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, congratulations again, Josh, to everything, and good luck on the next step of your journey. And we'll be rooting for you every step of the way.
Thank you so much. And thank you to Gigi. I think you're in the background, Gigi. Thank you for tuning in. And if anyone, or I encourage everyone to check out American Idol on ABC. Duets are tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Cheer on your favorites. I'll be watching from home. And thank you all so much for having me. This was amazing.
Thanks so much, Josh. Take care, man.
Take care, everyone.
That is awesome. I mean, what an incredible story right there of Josh Hollin, Pajama Josh, and his journey on American Idol. I mean, it's a pinch me moment for an alumni of the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts to go through that kind of process right there. I mean, those moments of just like, hearing advice from Katy Perry, Lionel Richie telling him to be serious. Like, those are things you're just like, wait, what? That happened?
Yeah, that is insane. And there are so many alumni now that the school has been around for over 10 years. And so we are going to get to be doing this like every few weeks, every month or so. So, I mean, I can't wait to see all the other stories that we're going to highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, keep staying tuned right here to the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts Foundation Facebook page. Thanks to all of our friends as well over on the Live 96.7 Facebook page that were tuned in this evening to hear this awesome story. I mean, it's just awesome to catch a local star that has, made his way on to, a story like this with the American Idol journey. And so congratulations to Josh, and looking forward to just keeping this up each and every month, telling these great stories. And again, alumni too. Let us know if you guys want to jump on here and chat with us each and every month. We would love to showcase, every story there with the Alumni Association and celebrate all of the amazing "Where Are They Now" stories of the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts.
Amazing. Yes.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, take care. Have a great rest of your evening. And of course, just as Josh says, don't forget, coming up, you got like 19 minutes to jump on American Idol tonight on ABC. Awesome. Mary, hey, thanks for jumping on with me this evening, and have a great rest of your evening, guys.